All right, I'm back again. This is the Life Changes You podcast. We do podcasts every Sunday, 11 a.m. Australia time, 12 p.m. or midnight UK time, and they drop about 2 or 3 in the afternoon in America. I'm just going to ask Arlene to join me. There she is.
If I turn the phone around.
There she is.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
AirPods. Oh,
Oh,
there they are.
I'm
Yeah,
so
so
sorry about that.
what happened?
Bloody technology is not my friend. So I'm here
Were
with
you trying to
the
connect on
MacBook.
okay.
Don't ask. Don't ask. It's too early in the morning for this.
Oh, come on, it's like 9:05. You told me you're up at 7 every
Oh,
morning.
no, it's fine for the podcast. It's just too early for me to be trying to deal with technology.
There we are.
It
Someone
just
just
hates
said
me.
Arlene is the greatest.
Really?
Sean Dock. You know Sean Dock?
Oh, I do. Yeah, yeah. He's my stalker. I know. I pay Sean. I pay Sean to be nice to me on the internet and say good things about me. And yeah, well, keep it up, Sean. Keep it up. So how are you, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's 8
Good.
p.m. here in Australia. We've had a few hot days, which when it's first hot, the first few days, great. When it's 3 or 4 days, it's just too hot. The house gets too hot. You can't sleep. And I'm her bodyguard, he said. Shh, shh, shh. That's what he said. You need a bodyguard. Wow. You
Absolutely
are a
not.
famous singer.
No, this girl needs no help in that department. Yeah,
I don't
I
know
just.
if you heard in my intro, it might have been in the intro that I then stopped because I had to try and get you connected, was that I said you were a country music singer. And when you first connected with me and said you wanted to come on the podcast, I was like, wow, someone from Nashville, Tennessee. And then when I actually spoke to you and you had this thick Irish accent, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Sorry to disappoint.
No, but it's just so different because you hear you singing and you sound very country, and then
Yeah,
you talk normally and you're very
yeah.
Irish.
I twang when I sing. That's for sure. But you can't do American country and sing it with an Irish accent. I just think that's all
No,
forms of wrong. So
that would be
yeah.
more. What was that band called? The Irish band from like the 70s. I don't know, but it would be more like that, wouldn't it, if you were to be singing in Irish with an Irish twang?
It works for certain material, but not for, as I said, because the stuff I do is predominantly American country. So yeah, you'd have to be twanging it.
Yeah. Is there any country songs? Is there any country singers that sing Irish country songs, or is that a ditty?
I don't know if anyone's like there's an American country singer that's come here and he's made it quite big on the Irish country scene, but no, he still sings American stuff. So I don't know. Um, Although I kind of, now that I think about it, do you think they'd take me seriously when I go to them with American country? Because if they came to me with fiddly diddly stuff, I'd be like, what are you even doing? I don't know. I'll just keep going, Daniel. I'll just keep on my
No,
path and
look, I mean,
pray for the
look,
best.
I said to you when we did the podcast that I listened to your album, and it was the first time I
Yeah.
listened to country music where I actually didn't mind it because I'm not a fan of country, but not that I didn't mind it. I actually really liked your rendition of "I Am Woman," and there was another song on there which I can't remember. I should have looked at it before we came on. There was another song I really liked of yours on that the Black and White album. What's that called? Is
Oh,
that
do you know what it was? I think we
Bailey?
talked about this before. Was it the Almost Saturday Night? Did you say you like that? Everything I'm
No,
Not?
that's the one. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, that's a good song. That was written for me by one of the Nashville-based songwriters that I worked with on the second album. So yeah, so it's good to have original stuff and also to have stuff with attitude to it on the album because that's very much what I stand for. It's that kind of kick ass. That's why I don't need a bodyguard. Even my resting bitch face apparently is enough to put people off. My boyfriend says that to me a lot, Daniel. Your face. I'm like, but it must be the Botox. I don't know. I'm not pulling a face. It's just is what it is, you know? Anyway.
Look, I still and I have shared this photo with a few other people. Is that photo of you sitting on the couch going, "This is how I look normally, and this is how I look for Instagram," and I
Yeah.
still think that is a really classic, funny picture.
Do you know, I use social media to take the piss out of myself, pardon my French, but I think there's so many people there, you know, and for whatever reason, whether it's insecurity or I don't know, I'm not going to profess to understand, but that spend all their time filtering photographs. I won't use a filter. I won't, because I don't want to meet somebody on the street and they're like, whoa, that's what you look like in reality. I don't, no, no. I'd rather look like a minger online and then hopefully impress in reality. That's, you know, that's my
And that's
plan.
what I love about you, your sense of humor. I guess are Irish and English people similar in their sense of humor? Because, like, I'm like you. I mean, if
Yeah,
someone goes to take a photo of me, I'll be doing some stupid face in it.
yeah,
And they go, "Oh no, can I have a proper face?" And I go, "Look, I don't want to be in the photo." So that's what you get.
right. Yeah. Yeah, we do. I suppose we have a similar, no, I think the English and the Irish sense of humor is different if you kind of compare TV shows. Like if you were to compare have you seen Father Ted?
Yes.
Yeah, so like that kind of sense of humor to maybe a British kind of sitcom. There, look, we get it.
And
It's a humor that lands with us, but I think it's different, you know.
would we say that Mrs. Brown's Boys is a typically Irish TV
No,
show?
please don't say that. Don't say that. I actually, you know, people like it. I don't watch it. It's not
Look,
for me.
I must admit,
No.
the first series, maybe the second series, were actually quite good and quite funny. I liked the physical comedy, but then I think after that, it sort of went downhill pretty quick.
Yeah, again, I can't pass any remark on it. From what I've seen, it just it wouldn't be my
Something
cup of
you'd
tea now, to
watch.
be fair.
No. And so, how is
So,
everything now that COVID is over and you're able to get out there and perform again? Because I mean, being a performer, a singer, it must have been really hard to be tied up and not be able to get
yeah,
out and perform and do
yeah,
what
it
you
was
love.
ridiculous. And I think we were kind of the ones that were really forgotten, you know, artists, musicians, you know, our hands were tied. But it's great. It's brilliant to be out now. I mean, we can go and we can walk into a bar without a mask, and you can go to the bar and get a drink, and you can smell people. You know, you can get up close and personal. I don't mean I want to smell people, but you know, can I just say hello to my brother who's tuning in there in Portugal, and just to say, Eric, I'm having my OG coffee. Just
Is that
sorry, just
speed
I saw him pop
speed
up.
health?
Speed Health, that's my brother. Yeah, he's an
Okay.
actor, Daniel. He's also a um personal trainer. He's all about fitness and wellness and all that jazz. So he's there. Yeah.
Maybe I need to connect with him as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, do have a chat with him. But sorry, I interrupted the conversation there. Yeah, it's great to be out. It's great to be gigging again. We had a gig last night, actually. We had a lovely little thing, an acoustic show in a restaurant last night for Valentine's. And it was lovely. It was lovely for us. The crowd weren't expecting, I don't think they were expecting that there was going to be live music on. And it was just lovely, lovely atmosphere. And yeah, everybody was all loved up and we're all happy now. People are so appreciative when they see live music in a venue because we've been, as you said, chained up for so long that it's yeah, it's great now to be able to get out and be free again and do what we love to do and obviously make money because
Yeah.
that's been that's been an issue for a while, you know. So
I
but
mean,
yeah,
look,
that's it.
you're lucky. Here in Victoria, we're still wearing masks everywhere because of the Omicron spread. I don't know when that's ending. It sort of almost feels like, um, you know, when you go to the shop or get petrol or anything, you always grab your mask to put it on before you go in, and it
Oh, it
almost
will
feels
be,
like when
yeah.
that's taken away, it's going to be too hard to realize actually I don't need to wear that anymore.
Yeah, we're still wearing masks. It's just you don't have to when you go into a bar. But yeah, for supermarkets and hairdressers and stuff like that, yeah, you still wear the mask, which I guess it's a necessary evil, isn't it? It's just it has to be done. But
I think one of the hardest
I
things
find them
is
annoying.
but I find that we haven't seen anyone's smiles for so long. Uh,
That's not a
Chris E.
bad thing.
Wilson.
So,
Do you know Chris E. Wilson?
no, never heard of her in my life.
Uh, Arlene prefers me in my mask for some reason.
You need
I
a
don't know.
bag over your head, Chris.
I don't know if it's a man or a woman.
Yeah, me neither.
um, yeah, what were we saying?
Masks.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably some people are
Not
better
seeing
off
people's
masked up.
smiles. Yeah, they are. Look, and I think
Yeah.
when it first started, I was one of those people sending all the bondage mask pictures around to people going, hey, what about this mask? What about that mask? And it was quite funny until you just had to wear your mask all the time. And then it was like, oh my God, when can I take this off? I was fortunate enough in my job that we didn't have to wear our masks at work. But whenever you went out somewhere, it was like, oh God, mask on, mask on.
Mm,
Yeah.
I know. Well, let's talk about something other than masks.
Yeah. So
We're sick
when
of
are you
COVID.
recording again?
I have one thing lined up that I want to record. So I'm doing a charity song for a mental health charity, and that is it'll be a single basically. I don't have any plans to go in and record another album anytime soon because I haven't got it in me at the minute. I'm still busy promoting this last one. It's a tough
So
one.
when
It's
did the
kind of like
last one come out? Was that before COVID?
it was recorded before COVID, but yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't released until kind of I think the first after the first lockdown. I'm losing track,
So
but
sort of the middle of 2020. Yeah, I know those last
yeah,
2 years, it's hard to actually, because we don't do anything in those years, it's hard to have, oh, I went to see this band or I went to this event or
yeah,
something, because there's nothing to actually put as a milestone, is there?
yeah, exactly. But I think making an album is kind of like a pregnancy. It's this whole process, and it's exhausting. Not okay. I really can't make that comparison. That's not right. I've never had any kids, so there are mothers out there going, "What the hell do you know?" But that's my take on it. Okay, so it's a lot. It takes a lot for it to come together and grow and blah blah blah. And I know, no, I'm not ready for that just yet. Come back to me next year. We'll talk about another album. But that's album number 3 now, and I'm delighted with it. It's
So
it
as you
really
say,
kind
it
of
must be really good to be out there now promoting it because it came out during lockdown and you couldn't really promote it. I guess you couldn't do radio. Well, you might have been able to do some radio, but you wouldn't be able to do TV or actually be out performing it so that people could listen
no,
and
no.
see what it
We
was
had to be
like.
really we had to be really creative, Daniel, at home. So it was a case of right. So this is what we've got. We've social media. Sit on the couch. I never did live, as you can see. I'm not good with with technology, so it's just as well. Although I have this great fear that I'm going to go live some night lying in the bed. I'm holding the phone and I've been watching something and I'm going to hit that live button and everyone's going to see me snoring and dribbling and but yeah, we had to do Instagram or Facebook videos and stuff like that to keep the momentum going and for our own sanity and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's no look, you can't beat a live audience. It's so much better to get out there and again, as I said, to make a few quid because you know uh,
And when will you be able to like tour around the rest of the world? Are you still locked in Ireland or are you able
no,
to
no, no,
now
we can
tour?
go, but just at the moment that's not. I very little interest in going overseas for now because of my little farm and I'm here. I need to be here for the time being, so there are no plans to go back out to the States just yet. But yeah, 3 dogs, 2 cats, and a gecko. Somebody's got to mind them, and I can't afford childcare.
And I know when we spoke last time, I thought there was a donkey as well, and there wasn't, was there?
I'm so disappointed. Now I want a donkey. And
I'd love
like
you to have a donkey.
you thought that I had an actual farm when I said farm. Like I get up
Yeah,
at
yeah,
7 in the morning because we talk regularly. People wouldn't know this, but we do
yeah,
have the
yeah.
chats every now and again on Instagram. Um, but yeah, my farming is just literally dog feeding, cat feeding.
And a
Clean
gecko.
the shedding skin off the gecko's head. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
because when people
animals.
usually say farm, like I imagined you had probably a couple of goats, a sheep, a pig, maybe even a cow. And when you said that, like this is ages ago, you said, oh, and I go out and I look after the farm in the morning. I thought you were out there milking a cow and bringing stuff in and using, what are those things called that you use to do the butter?
Daniel, don't make that gesture. What are you
It's
doing?
like a big thing like that. And then
Yeah,
what's it called?
we understand. Yeah.
A butter churner?
Anyway, I don't know how to milk a cow, and yeah, yeah, I just want goats and a donkey. And my grandmother actually had this dream of having a big house, loads of land, and having like all sorts of animals on it. So I think I'm trying to live her dream. I don't have a lot of space, but the space that I
Are
do have,
donkeys
I'd happily
expensive to buy?
could rescue one, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't buy animals, Daniel. I'm a big believer in rescuing anything. So I
Do
could go
you
to a
have
donkey
like
sanctuary.
enough
Yeah.
land to put a donkey on?
No,
Oh.
no, I live in an estate. No, I have a decent size. You see me riding my donkey through the estate. Uh, I have a decent sized back garden, but what do donkeys do? Are they destructive? You know, I don't want them to eat through the fence.
No,
So,
but like, because you've always said you have a farm, I've always imagined like you've had, I don't know, not a big farm, but like a little hobby farm where you had a couple of little fenced off areas where you could put those sort of animals. Um, but so no, it's like a house, but then you've got a sort of backyard with your well, it's
I
two
have a
cats. So it's
big
like
back garden. Yeah.
a pet farm,
I could describe it maybe as a petting zoo. That's yeah, that's
right?
what I'd say I'd have now as opposed to a farm. Just to clear that up, yeah. You'd be sorely disappointed if you came to visit Daniel and you were expecting like, you know, horses and wildlife and whatever. You look out the window and there is the motorway. No.
Someone's just said
Um,
get a llama.
llamas are cute. Yeah, we have
Yeah,
alpacas up the road here now. There's a hotel very close to me and they have alpacas on the land and they're lovely. Yeah.
because you've
What's the
heard
difference
about the
between a
no
llama and
drama
alpaca?
llama,
What?
the no drama llama.
No.
Well, you talk to the no drama llama when you don't want any drama. So you talk to your
Oh,
llama.
okay. Okay, I get you now.
That wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
No, really wasn't. Can't beat that hand gesture though, Daniel. Like that was pretty that's you
I
know, you
realised
talk
when
about
I
the
did
last
it that
guy.
the screen is too small.
You talk
Can I
about the
actually show
last
you
guy
what
who
I'm
was
doing?
sorry, you know, I was saying you were talking about the guy that was on to you before. I didn't catch the lad's name, but he was talking about pooing in the sea. So I mean you've just gone and topped that now. Is that what he
Where have
did?
I gone? Yeah, because he was at Ipanema Beach and they don't have any toilets there. And he'd been eating some of the food in, where is it, Brazil? And it had gone right through him. And so he needed to get rid of the waste product.
When you gotta go, you
So
gotta go.
I don't know what Ipanema's like, but I've always imagined that Ipanema would be this amazing beach, like beautiful white sands, beautiful crystal clear blue
Well,
water.
it's ruined now, isn't it?
Because you know the girl from Ipanema's there.
Yeah, well, we also know what else is there. So yeah, okay, well sure, I'm sure it's washed away by now.
All
Anyway.
right, so do you want to talk a little bit about bipolar?
Sure, yeah. Um,
So
I
do you want
actually
to
had a
say about
conversation.
how long ago you realized that you had bipolar?
I think it's about 2 years now that I was
Yep.
diagnosed, and yeah, I actually had a conversation yesterday where I was saying to Gordon, my boyfriend, that the medication is a total game changer. Like I'm such a nicer person.
Right.
I had to be medicated, you know, and now I'm a lot mellower and nice and a lot less aggressive and agitated. No, but in all fairness, because I've got the correct medication now, I'm in a good place. Definitely, it is a strange feeling. Sometimes I do feel a little flattened, and I know a lot of people wouldn't think that that's necessarily a good thing, but it is when you've got um, hypomania at times and you're trying to quieten the mind. So yeah, God invented antidepressants for a reason. Some people need them, and I'm one of those people. So yeah, no, I'm in a good place. I have everything under control as far as I can see. That being said, it does rear its head every now and again. It's not there's like a plaster on it in a sense,
Right.
um, but no, I'm a lot better now that I'm on the right
But do you
meds
think when
and
there are those little bumps and that, it's just like how anyone else would be through life, like have something that goes wrong and a bit of a bump? Do you think yours is similar to that now that you're on the medication?
no, no, I can still recognize it as you know, as something that's not right. It's not. No, I wouldn't turn around and say that it's just like every other kind of because I know the difference between a life stresses you out and
Yeah.
this has happened and you know that sucks, as opposed to I can't get out of the bed and I'm not able to face reality, you know. And I know
Yeah.
that sounds a bit maybe contradictory when I say that yes, I have everything under control, but I can see these things coming now and I'm aware of what they are after a diagnosis and I'm aware that whereas I'm not completely shielded from the reality of the condition. I am, it is being looked after, it is being treated. So I just have to power through it, whatever's going on, and know that I'll get out the other side of it. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is that the manic side of things is treated, like, as in it's under control as much as the depression side of things are, because one is as bad as the other, and it's just, you know, there's nothing worse than, you think it's a great thing to be running around and being manic and hyper and wanted to wash the walls of your neighbor's house at 4 a.m. on a whatever Monday morning. That sort of energy is great until it's teamed up with anxiety and racing thoughts and whatever other bits and pieces come with it, and it's just no, it's, I don't know, I'm probably rambling here, Daniel, but look,
No.
I think it's important that if people think that they're displaying similar characteristics, or they see it in a family member or a friend, to just address it, because it's no way to live your life. You have to be able to slow that down and treat accordingly. And yeah, I guess, look, I'm very vocal about what's going on with me. I'm taking,
And
as I
that's
said.
really good, because I mean, I've read the articles that you've been in where you've talked about your mental health openly. I haven't listened to the other. I think you've done another couple of podcasts as well. But that's what's really brilliant about you, is because you're vocal and you tell people about not just, well, you tell people about how you're feeling and how you are, and people watching you now, seeing how open and honest you are about it, is really good. Because I think a lot of people, well, not a lot, but some people with a mental illness tend to tell you the best bits about it. Like, and I don't mean there's best bits, but the bits that aren't too hard, you know, for people to digest. Whereas you just tell it as it is. And that actually would help someone else who's just got a diagnosis with bipolar or knows they have bipolar, to hear someone talking so openly and honest. It makes it a lot easier for them, because they can then go, well, I'm like that person, or they have the same sort of things as me, and they don't feel so alone and isolated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think it's important to speak out. It is for me, for my own selfish reasons as well. You know, it's been therapy for me to be able to talk out about stuff, because, you know, like, the more I talk, I kind of feel a little freer, and I feel like I'm releasing the demons, you know. And like, it was, I think that was a big step as well, because it was a big deal for me to go into therapy and talk to somebody, to talk one-on-one about these things. So then to open my mouth and go, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to speak to somebody. This is going to make, you know, like a news story, or it's going to be spoken about on a podcast. It's refreshing. I think it's the fact that I've hit 44 now, and there's very little filter left. So I'm like, I have to be real. I want to be true to myself and just say what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm going through. And yeah,
And what you're
it
saying
helps.
there about therapy as well is, I mean, I've studied counseling, and I always feel that it would be so hard to walk into a room where you don't actually know the person you're talking to on your first session, and you sit down and they say, so how can I help you today? And you're not actually sure, because you don't have a diagnosis at the time, of why you're feeling like you are. And you're saying these things and hoping that they can put them all together and to say to you, actually, it's anxiety, or it's depression, or it's bipolar, or I can help you with this, aren't you? Because you've gone there, you've opened up. Because a lot of people go to these sessions, and I know in my training we were told it doesn't matter if you don't get to the root of it in the first one or the second one. You just gather information and then present on the third, fourth, whichever one it feels right to do it on. But I'm always a great believer in, if you come and see me and I know that I can help you within that one session, and then you don't come back for 6 months, or you never come back at all, then that's your bonus. I don't want to just string you along, making money out of you, pulling apart every part of your life to then go, okay, let's construct it all back together. And I know there's lots of counselors and psychologists out there who go, no, Dan, that's not the way to be. But if I can help you in one session or 2 sessions, that's it. Let's do that. Let's get you back to where you want to be.
My therapist broke up with me, which was great. Oh. She was like, we're done here. We've done all we can do, you know. So they kind of, initially you're like, what? You're dumping me. But you should take that as a compliment. The work has been done and she'd done everything that she could do. Either that or she thought I was a lost cause. Get out.
No, no, no. Look, that's good. I
No.
haven't heard of many therapists who do that because most of them, I mean, look, they've got to make a living and there are probably
Mm.
loads of other things that they can work on. But it's best to just pick the things that you can do those. And then if you come back in 6 months' time and go, well, actually, I've still got this sort of thought in my head. Okay, let's work through that now.
Yeah.
But, there are people who like to unpack every single thing and then everything's out there. And then it's like, well, how do we put all this back together? And the person, obviously, I mean, I don't know how much it costs in Ireland to go and see a psychologist, but it's not cheap. So, you want to try and get things done in those 5 or 6 sessions. Here we
Yeah.
get 6 sessions that are partly paid for or 3/4 paid for by the government. So you have to pay like 30, 40, $50 towards it.
Mm.
And so those 6 sessions are really the ones you want to get it sorted out in, because otherwise then you're starting to look at 200, 250 an hour.
Yeah.
And I know that psychologists, counsellors, we all do lots of training. We're all always constantly updating our CVs and doing lots of stuff. And we are worth the money. But my problem is I can't see that I could take someone on board when I know they don't have much money. Maybe they're not working because they've got anxiety and depression or some other mental health issue. And they're paying me out of what they're getting as an unemployment benefit. And that's when I feel like, we need to get this sorted so that this person, because also I can't just go, look, I'm just going to do this free for you because I've still got to pay for everything that comes with my job.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a minefield. I think it's a good thing. I had been quite some time having sessions with that woman, and yeah, look, we did what we could do. I haven't needed to go back. It's probably a year since I've last spoke to a therapist. I don't think I need to speak to anyone right now. I think my voice is my own therapy. People like you allowing me to speak. That's all. I'm getting free therapy. That's what's happening. I'm sponging.
No, but I always love talking to you because, we always have a good laugh and a good giggle and, that's what you need. And sometimes that is your therapy, isn't it? If you can have a laugh about something, it makes you feel better for days on end.
Look, you have to see the funny side of everything, right? Death included. Like you do. I know that sounds terrible, but like there would have been times when my dad died that we still would have, in the thick of it, we would have found reason to laugh. And I think it's important, you have to, it's otherwise you'll just keel over.
And I think
really
that's
important.
also important to say is that, with grief, I mean, I was taught this, I think it's 6 or 7 step module that we have to go through the stages of grief. And, I was talking to someone recording a podcast this morning, and we were saying how, statistics and all those sort of things are great, but it's better to look at people on a personal level. And for me, when my dad passed last year, I had that, I don't know, 2-3 days where I cried and cried and cried. And then after that, I sort of found things that were funny about him and good memories. And some people have said to me, well, why didn't you get more upset? And I said, well, because I guess in my head, I'd come to the realization that at 84, he wasn't going to go on forever. And it doesn't mean I miss him less. I miss him every day. And I have loads of ideas. If I hear a song on the radio when I'm driving to work, I go, oh, that's Dad. But I think I was used to the idea that my parents aren't going to be there forever. Now, when I was 36, my sister, who was 42, died of breast cancer. Now, that blew me apart because that was so unexpected. We knew she had breast cancer. We knew she was unwell, but the chemo was looking good. And then she just died. And it was like, you think your parents are going to go out, but you don't think your sisters or brothers are going to go first. And so when she went, it really shook the whole family. It was like, well, what's going on? If she can go, we can go. And, there's no, I guess, hierarchy anymore. It's just
that's the thing.
Up.
It's, as you said, you keep an eye on your parents and you worry. And then it's the unexpected call or whatever it is at a random 2:00 on a Tuesday afternoon that throws a cat among the pigeons, because that's life for you. I'd be like that. I would have kind of said, oh God, thinking about my nana and stuff. God, how many more Christmases would we have with her? And then something out of the blue happens that the person that you wouldn't have expected. you know, at the time you wouldn't have expected. So life's a bitch, you know.
It is. But I guess we learn things as we're going through to cope with these things. I mean, look, I think you're very positive, and compassionate and understanding about not only your bipolar, but how you can help others just by telling your story. And it takes a lot of, what's the word? It takes a lot of, I can't think of the word now because we're live. If we were on a podcast, I could go, oh shit, edit that and let's start again. But I think by sharing your story, you help so many other people. And because you are a musician, you're out there, people know about you. You've got a following of what, 10,500 people. You know, that's great, because if 5 of those 10,500 people hear your story and know someone else who's got a mental health issue, or someone else in another family, and they listen to what you're talking about, that creates change for those people that don't feel alone. They feel like they have someone that they can look to who has got the same diagnosis as them or has been in the same position. But then also, because you're a great musician, they can say, well, look, it doesn't mean that this is the end of my life, that because I've got a mental health issue, I'm never going to be able to do anything. I mean, you're showing people, well, I get on stage 5 nights a week and I sing and I record albums, and I still have my down days and I feel like shit, and I wish I could just cover my head in the, I don't know what you call it there, we call it a doona, eider down?
Duvet.
And, you know, where you have those days like that, but you still come back from it. And I think that's a thing. I know when I had anxiety when I was in my mid-20s, I started having panic attacks. The doctor just put me on some medication. I took that for about 2 weeks and then thought, I don't want to be stuck taking this. I need to work through this. But in those 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months, it was the worst feeling, because I'd always been outgoing, busy, doing lots of stuff. And all of a sudden, I was too scared to go out the front door in case, what if I have a panic attack and I'm laying on the floor crying in the middle of a shopping centre again, you know? Yeah. And I don't think I've ever said that story in a podcast or on a live, but that's the reality of it. It happens to everybody. And, you know, I can be as trained as I am as a counsellor, but I'm still human and I still go through all these things that everybody else goes through. And I think when we share those stories as well, people don't go, oh, look, that's the oracle who's telling me everything about life and how much better I'm going to be, because I've been through these things. So I can actually empathise, because I can see what you're going through, because I've been there too.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's important to be real, isn't it? You know, and people will appreciate that. As you said, if there's 5 people out of 10,000 that turn around and say, okay, look, I recognize that there's something going on. Maybe if another 5 or 10 people could bring wine, that would be great. You know, when I see followers, I'm like, where are they? Have they got booze? I really appreciate it. But I definitely think some people are just stalking. I'm moving on to other pastures there now. Daniel, tell me something about your day. Tell me something entertaining. Give me something.
Entertaining. Entertaining. Look, there wasn't much entertaining today, except I got up early and went and recorded a podcast. And then I took my mum to the doctor's. And then I drove home and had a walk with the dog. That was entertaining. I like walking with the dog.
How is the dog? How is the dog?
Here she is.
Hi.
Aww. She can't hear you because I've got my headphones on.
Yeah,
but look at
she's
that.
Gorgeous. She really is. Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring my 3 in here because it would just be carnage.
Oh, would it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, for me, I think every day there's something that I really enjoy. I don't know what it is, but I always find something good that happened during the day. You know, even if you're just watching a TV show, it can be happy and funny and, you know. But like you, sure. I'm not always on and happy and excited about life every second of the day. Usually when I wake up, because I've got fibromyalgia, it takes me 45 minutes to an hour to actually feel like I'm human again. You know, I'm in pain and I have a shower and I think, oh God, I can't get through the day. And then I start feeling better.
Yeah.
So
I find that if I have days just, you know, where I don't feel great, where I'm feeling down, I'll say, look, if I can't do something nice for myself, if I haven't even got the energy to do that, I'll do something nice for the dogs. I'll bring them for a walk. I'll do whatever. You have to find, you know, you do have to find joy in the simple things, you know, throughout your day, or at least pinpoint something. Or sometimes if I'm not feeling great, I throw myself into, I'll just say, look, do you know what? If you can just get to the gym You don't have to do anything while you're there. Just get there, get to the door, show up. And then if
Yeah.
you're there, maybe just go on, try do a workout and whatever else. There are ways and means of kind of giving yourself a bit of a jolt, even if depression or whatever it is, if it anxiety, if it takes its toll, if it takes time to kind of, wrap up or jog on, you can do little bits and pieces to kind of help yourself. But yeah, look, I'm no expert. I'm just speaking from my experience, and my experience is going to be different to the next person's.
And that's the other thing to see, isn't it? That, even though you're talking, there are people out there that will have a completely different experience to what you've had. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, we're all different, but talking about these things, people will then see that we're all human.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of superhuman. I like to think I am anyway.
Well, I think you are some days.
I thought I had COVID. I got
Again.
a COVID test. Yeah, I thought I had it a second time, and I don't, thankfully, because, well, clearly I've been out and about and I've been gigging. And then I thought I had arthritis in my hip, and I had an MRI, and I don't. And then I didn't know what was going on with me, so I had bloods taken because I was feeling really tired, and they came back fine. So, kind of in general, despite feeling superhuman, I kind of feel like crap, but there's nothing wrong with me.
And isn't that half the problem? I think as we get older as well, we start to, you get a bit of back pain and you think, well, your back's obviously falling apart and you're not going to be able to walk anymore. And we go to that different level, whereas when we were younger, we just didn't care. We just went out and had a bad back. But nowadays we go, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, I better get it checked.
I have my family, all the women in my family have a dodgy left hip. So,
so do you think it's just that you think that you've got a dodgy left hip because everybody else does?
Oh no, I definitely have. I feel like somebody hit me with a hammer, Daniel. Yet still, I'm good on paper. I'm very healthy, apparently.
So tell
apart from all the other things.
Tell people where they can get your music.
Okay, so on all the usual platforms, so Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, obviously on Instagram it's Arlene Bailey 1. There's a link there to the album. Facebook, it's Arlene Bailey. The band page on Facebook is Bailey Tunes, I think it is. That's
so the band is called link. Bailey.
The band is called Bailey, yeah.
So they just need to look for Bailey.
Look for Bailey or Arlene Bailey. It's funny because people refer to me as Bailey at times now, when my name is Arlene, which I kind of find.
Do you know
funny,
what? When we did the first podcast, I was actually going to say, "So how are you, Bailey?" And then I realised your first name was Arlene.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's different. It's just like, I mean, we've only formed the band about, I suppose it's a little over 2 years now, and it's still something that we're very much building and whatnot. And of course, our hands were tied for quite some time. But yeah, just when people say to me on the street, "Hey, Bailey," I'm like, that's not my name, but okay, that's fine. They could be calling me worse.
Do you have recordings of before you were in Bailey then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sure. Well, the first 2 albums were just Arlene Bailey. They were my own. But yeah, there's plenty of information there on me if you Google me. Believe it all.
Wow.
Yeah. But no, it's great to be working with the band. I'm very lucky, Daniel, because I finally have a group of people who are working with me, and they're on the exact same page as me, and they give a damn. Like in the music business, you get you meet a lot of sharks and a lot of people with their own agenda. And thankfully, the guys that I work with are, as I said, they're good guys. They're on the same page. My boyfriend is the guitar player, so I mean, we've very much got the same vision in mind. So and yeah, that's it. That's what you want. Just nice people in your circle and people that work well with you. And yeah, we have a lot of fun as a group. So yeah.
Well, it makes a lot of difference, doesn't it, if you get on really well with the people around you. Des Mull here says, great energetic live shows. Definitely recommend going to see Bailey.
Thank you, Des. Yeah, Des actually he's a DJ. He's a DJ here in Ireland. He's doing really well for himself. So yeah, and always very supportive. So,
Good.
which is good, him and his family. So, thank you.
I mean, I forget,
Um,
don't I? In Ireland, you all know each other.
yeah, because like there's only about 27 of us here, and yeah, we're all related. No, it's not that bad. It's funny. Do you know when they say about, oh yeah, do you know so and so from Galway? And the Irish person generally goes, this is a big country, and Galway's a huge place. Actually, no, I do know them. Yeah, that's my cousin. Um, yeah, we're a strange breed. We're funny. You've been here, Daniel, haven't you?
No,
You haven't?
no,
Oh
I've
God,
been to
right.
London and all over England. I've been to France. I've been to Belgium, Singapore, Hong Kong, America, but I've never been to Ireland.
All right, okay. You'll have to come over. You will. You'll have to come visit the farm, the petting zoo. The
Yeah.
door is always open.
All right. So, Joe O'Rourke. Hey, Arlene, enjoying this. It has gave me a few hints to now why I feel crap some days.
Oh, okay.
And then
Well,
Chris E. Wilson, who you must know, has just told me to come on over.
that's a Shania Twain song. Come
Is it?
on over, come on in. I should bill you for that.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yes, I know Chris. I know Chris. Yeah,
Okay.
she's a bit of a character. Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean,
she's
look, if you want to do a bit more a cappella, go for it. Because imagine the album sales.
yeah. Or it could put them all off. We're not buying her stuff. She's rubbish. No, I was saying Chris is a bit of a stand-up. She's very funny. She's outstanding in her own field.
So
As
she
we
might be
speak.
someone, someone who I could interview for the podcast about comedy.
No, no, I wouldn't
Oh,
recommend it to be honest. Yeah, she's
okay.
hilarious, but don't. No, like the you'll probably spontaneously combust, and the internet would be broken forever. No, don't go there.
Wouldn't that be a good thing?
No comment.
All right. Well, look, I think we should wind it up there. It's been brilliant catching up with you again. If people want to go back and listen to the podcast we did together, I can't remember what number it is now. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. I think it's about 104.
Wow, that's impressive, Daniel. Like fair play. That's brilliant. You know, I've listened to some of the podcasts that you've done, and like you've great guests. This is not me like praising myself here, but I'm talking about other people. Yeah, fair play. Like because that's you've longevity there, and you're obviously hitting
I
home
think this
with your
weekend will be 150
wow.
episodes, and the last couple were. I did one on child predators, and I thought that would be something everyone would want to listen to, but I think it's something that people don't necessarily want to think about. But then I also did one with a cult. There's just been some really good ones coming. I've actually got a
Your
new
guests are
one
really
coming up.
varied. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
look,
You've
I
had
want to
yeah
have so
a
many
mixed
different
bag.
people because, I've talked about autism, we've talked about youth suicide, we've talked about adult suicide, we've talked about depression, we've talked about alcoholism, we've talked about drugs. I mean, I find, and people come forward like you did and say, hey, I've got this story, I'd really like to share it. And then bang, we do a podcast and it's something different that people can hear. I mean, last year I had another guy from your side of town, Connor Nolan, who spoke about
Yeah,
when he was 12, he had male anorexia. Now, when that one went out, I had so many comments and so many emails from people saying, no one ever talks about male anorexia. And I know it is more defined with women, but there are
yeah,
males out there too. So that actually worked well. And I had a couple of people say, look, we've got, well, this one woman said, my nephew is really skinny. We've tried to talk to the parents. They don't want to know, but we think this might be the similar thing. Now, they wanted me to step in and be a counsellor. And I said, look, I can't remember where they were. They might have been England. I said, look, I can't do it from here. And you're better to go and see someone who's a specialist, but maybe get them to listen to the podcast. And then Connor came on and did another couple. Listen to him because he's only 22. So he can really, people can really relate to him who are young, 16, 17. And it's better than a 50-year-old saying, hey, look, this is what anorexia is about. When
but
you hear people of your own age group.
whatever the person's age, Daniel, like that is when you think of eating disorders, you automatically think women, young
Yeah,
girls. So it's not very common. Whether it's common that there are young guys out there with eating disorders, it's not spoken about. So it is really important that people like that have that platform to speak, because yeah, it's a light bulb moment for people, isn't it? It's like, never would have thought, or wow, there's, now I can see, as you said, there's somebody there that may have a problem, and we need to kind of now address it.
Yeah.
So
And it's everyday people. Like, I mean, I'm an everyday person. I'm not anything major, but it's like when you and I sat down and did that podcast, lots of people have a listen and they go, actually, that's really good, or that little bit. I mean, someone
yeah,
messaged me and said, I really liked the comment. And I did too when I reheard it again. When I said to you at the end, I think it was something like, oh, well, look, maybe we can do a podcast further down the track and have a bit of a catch up of what's been going on. And we'll do it live. I think it was live, because you said, and you can be dancing in the background to music. It was
I don't
funnier than
remember
that.
that.
No, but like when I heard it, I think I listened to it again before Christmas, and I just laughed my head off in the car, because I could just imagine you guys all singing and playing and me dancing around in the background.
Where's my dance? Come on, we're live now. You promised me a dance.
Well, I did a butter churner, and you didn't like that.
Stop it. That is not a butter churner. Okay, maybe it is, but or maybe I just have a filthy mind.
It's like, do you remember those weights that came out a few years ago? They were called a shake weight,
Yes,
and you
yeah.
just shook them like that.
That's not the kind of weights I'm into. I'm into the heavy lifting. I like to hang by the bar, and not
Oh
one
my
with
God.
alcohol. Although that's all that's missing this morning was a few cocktails.
Well, look, when we spoke at Christmas, we'd organised that we'd have a glass of champagne together while we had a chat over Christmas. I turned up with my beer, and where were you? You turned up with a coffee.
I had coffee because I was still feeling crappy after COVID. That's what it was. And I was
Right,
starting to
right.
wilt. I was enjoying our conversation so much, but as time went on, I think I was starting to slide off the chair.
Yeah, because afterwards you
I had
said
to
that
go
you
back
had
to
to go to
bed.
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bitch. I feel sorry for anybody else, that suffered that kind of fatigue and the breathlessness and whatnot afterwards, because it's it's nasty dose.
I mean, look, touch
But
wood, I haven't had it, but when I had chronic fatigue 10 years ago, it was similar to what you had. Like, I was exhausted, had to sleep, out of breath all the time. And when I saw my specialist, he said, oh, you shouldn't be out of breath, but I was so out of breath. I'd
yeah,
walk down to, I don't know, down to the shop and back, and I could hardly breathe.
oh God, that's not good.
So there's got to be something similar between the two.
Yeah.
But
Oh well.
anyway, thank you so much for coming in from the farm and having a chat.
If you saw what I was doing 5 minutes before we connected here, I was literally out hosing down my garden. Like, it's just, my life is just full of dog poo and
Look, what I need you to do is
slobber.
I actually need you to send me a photo of your backyard so I can actually imagine what this farm looks like. Because at the
Yeah.
moment in my head, I've got a vision of a farm on something like All Creatures Great and Small.
Okay. Well, I live in a very nice housing estate in a
Right.
town called Thigh. And I moved here 8 years ago. And we did a little bit of work in the back garden recently, because basically, because my dogs are rescue dogs, they're quirky and weird. And one in particular likes to dig. So it was like he was trying to get to Australia. She was trying to get to Australia with all the digging. So we had to do a bit of work. So it's been certain sections, like the grass section has been fenced off, and then there's been like tarmac laid down, so it just makes it easier and cleaner. But yeah, sometimes I have to be out there hosing down the yard just to clean up after them. This is a wild and exciting conversation.
It is. I mean, look,
Sure, anyone is listening
people were saying how interesting it was, and well done you, Arlene, and I'm proud of you, and I really enjoyed this conversation. So nice, and now you've just, I've tried to
I've
wind you up,
ruined
and
it.
now you're just trying to, just get more airtime, aren't you?
See, yeah, I like to think that I'm a rock star, but really my days are spent picking up dog poo and singing in the shower. That's really it.
That's your whole day, dog poo, and yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, well, we should go.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah,
Thank you so
I've
much for
stayed my
coming
hour.
on.
Yeah,
You
thank
have.
you.
Look, I knew we would get to an hour because you and I talk like there's no tomorrow.
We're like old friends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that when people listen back, it's good.
Probably not. You're fine.
Yeah.
I don't think I was in the slightest bit coherent. So it's just you know.
Oh, you were, yeah, you were on fire today. Anyway, let's go. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Daniel.
I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.